Welcome to Faith Stories with Dawn DeMarco Buck. In the same way, let your light shine before others so that they will see your good works and give glory to your Father in heaven. Matthew 5:16.
Hello, I'm Dawn DeMarco Buck with Faith Stories. What is Faith Stories? Faith Stories is Christians from all walks of life who share their stories of faith, hope, and love. And my prayer is that you would come to know your Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. And how do you do that? Through His Word, which is the Bible. So if you need a Bible, please reach out to me at faithstorieswithdawn@gmail.com and I will get you a Bible into your hands. All right, you guys, I do this every week. My beautiful friend Stacy Herring, she passed away in September of 2024, and she wrote this book, and it's about a young girl that got in a huge fight with her mom, ran away from home, and got caught up in sex trafficking. It's an amazing book. It's an easy read, and you won't be disappointed, especially if you have kids. It's so important to share this book with them. So you can get it on Amazon or Barnes & Noble. All right, you guys, we'll be right back. And I'll introduce you to my amazing, beautiful guest.
Broughton Garage Door Sales now offers you a difference with the LiftMaster Secure View Ultra Quiet Smart Opener with camera, LED 360-degree lighting, and battery backup. Built-in camera adds video and two-way audio communication to the MyQ app. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage anytime, anywhere from your smartphone. Schedule today at broughton.com.
Just simply call Broughton, we open doors for you.
Tavilla Properties, located at 11471 West Sample Road, Suite 17, located in Coral Springs, Florida, for all your commercial needs. Call Jan at 954-341-1632. That's 954-341-1632, or visit www.tavilla.properties.com. Welcome back to Faith Stories. If you have any prayer requests, please email me at faithstorieswithdawn@gmail.com. That's faithstorieswithdawn@gmail.com.
And we're back. Okay, you guys. So my next guest is Denise Welter. She's an attorney. She does wills and trusts and probate, right?
Yes.
And probate. And so we've known each other for over 20 years. I know it's hard to believe, but anyway. So I would like to introduce to you my sweet girlfriend, Denise.
Thank you, Dawn.
And oh, by the way, you guys, she drove down from Tampa. Shut up. Are you kidding me? How awesome is that? So
Well, I have to be in person with you.
I know, it's so much more fun, right?
It's way more fun.
Absolutely. So, okay, so I'm going to throw it to you because I know that what you want to share is just the journey that you've been on with our Lord and Savior and how He's worked through your life. And I love that. And because we all have challenges that we face through our journey with Christ. You know, it's not an easy journey, but it's easier with Him.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. So I accepted Christ as a child. I was 12 at Vacation Bible School summer camp.
Wow.
Yeah.
I didn't
so-
get it until my 30s. I was like, hello.
Yeah. The interesting part about that is, though, that periodically Satan will creep in and say, did you really?
Yeah.
Did you really?
Sure.
And then I'm reminded, yeah, I really,
Yeah.
I really did.
Yeah.
He really is my Savior. So I feel like Christ has really been with me, you know, my whole adult life.
Yeah.
And so were there times when it ebbed and flowed? Yes. And I was more
Well,
faithful.
Well,
and
you
other
wouldn't be
times when-
human if
Right.
that wasn't the case,
Absolutely.
right?
But I can tell you, as I track my journey, especially in my career, I can look back and see where God appointed certain times, certain things at times in my life. And so I'm going to go way back. I've been practicing law a little over 22 years now. So I'm going to go back to the beginning. I was a legal assistant, really, with
Okay.
an attorney. It was just him and I. He called me on the phone one day and said he didn't need me anymore. And I was,
Don't you just love those phone calls?
well, you know.
But you know what? That's God closing the door too.
Oh, slamming the door.
Hello, yeah.
Slamming
Nail
the
that
door.
baby shut.
Yes. But at the time, I only had a 2-year degree. And so I had to
Right.
decide what I wanted to be when I grew up. I was married. I had 2 children. My husband's a firefighter. He was gone every 3rd night. So it's like, okay, what are we going to do? So after we prayed and talked about it, we decided that I would go back to school, and I would go to law school. So 5.5 years of a journey through that. I look back at that
were you
calendar.
full-time in law school?
I was
when you-
full-time.
And you were a mom,
And I worked.
and you worked.
Yeah, and we
Oh,
did.
wait a minute.
And we did soccer and baseball and
my
piano
God, how
and
do you
all
do
the
that?
things.
I'm so amazed by women and how, because you're the nurturer, you're the caregiver when it comes to the family and the kids.
Yep.
And yet you had a job and you went to full-time
Yes.
law school.
Yes. So I can tell you, I was never
my
fully
word.
prepared.
Thank you. We never are. We just jump in and God goes, wait a minute.
Yes. So I would go to school, go to my job, pick up the kids, do all the things, piano, whatever, feed them, do their homework, put them to bed, and then I would study. So it would start around 9 at night until I couldn't keep my eyes open anymore, and I would be falling asleep on the books, and we'd start up again the next day. And I could tell you a story. One time I was in class. It was my torts class. And I was like, please don't call me. Please don't call me. Because I could never finish all the reading.
Right.
I could never finish it all.
you were so
And all the other
exhausted.
students thought I was stupid because I never had the right answer because I couldn't do all the
Right.
work.
Sure.
And he called on me. And I didn't know the answer. And he got angry. And he stormed out of the class. And
Who was this, your professor?
My professor, yes.
See, that's the thing. People don't understand. You don't know what's going on in a person's life.
Yep.
Why didn't he just ask you?
Because they don't care.
Oh, okay.
They don't care.
Okay.
So anyway, we got through school, finished the studied that summer, passed the bar the first time, started practicing.
Congratulations. Usually
Thank
that's
you.
not the case.
Thank you. Yes,
Right?
that was my kids scattered that summer. One went to my girlfriend's, the other one went to Europe on a band trip, and they refer to that as the summer from hell.
Really?
Yes.
Oh my gosh. That's
And my
so
husband
funny.
never knew what he was coming home to, because on some days it's like, I'm gonna nail this, and on other days it was like, I'm gonna
What am
fail.
I doing? What
I
did I
wasted all
do?
this money, time. But anyway, so we passed, and I've been practicing ever since.
Mm-hmm.
But I was with it from when I got that phone call that I got fired.
Right.
I got a job with an attorney in Coral Springs,
Mm-hmm.
and I did a lot of healing there. I learned that, I was still worthy, that I
Right.
was still smart, that I was still capable, all of the things. And so I worked there all the way through law school and then as an attorney. And in 2010, I got an opportunity to go to work with a marriage ministry that my husband and I had volunteered with for many years. And they offered me a job there as a director. It was out in Iowa, and I would commute from South Florida to Iowa about every 6 weeks or so, and I would stay there for about 7 to 10 days on each trip. But I would also travel to different areas where we presented these marriage weekends.
So, but you were also practicing law.
No, I left the practice of law for 2 years.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because
okay.
I couldn't do both. Yeah,
Hello.
so I left the practice
Yeah, I was
of law.
thinking, are you juggling again? I mean,
So I started, the week that I started,
Uh-huh.
there was just an upheaval in the ministry. A lot of stuff went on.
now, okay. So I'm going to ask you a question.
Mm-hmm.
When this opportunity came up, I'm assuming that you prayed about it
Yep.
with your husband,
Of
right,
course,
Bob?
yes.
And then you stepped into the turmoil because
Yes.
God equips you, even though you don't know what's coming, He does.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Wish he would have
I
tuned
know.
me in.
Could you work that out before I got there, please?
He could have told me in advance. But anyway, I stepped into this turmoil. We lost half the board of directors in the first month that I was there. We lost some of the staff members. It was just a disaster. And so I stuck with it for right around 2 years. And that last part, that second year that I was there, I was in a fire. My hotel room that I was sleeping in caught on. I don't think I ever told you this story.
I don't think you did.
My hotel room that I was sleeping in Iowa caught on fire.
What?
Yeah.
You're sleeping in that room, and that's
yeah.
the room that caught on
Yes.
fire.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Wow.
But I will tell you, I want to tell you about the fire a little bit because God intervened in a huge way that night. I had been working in my room, doing some work, and the power went off in half the room. And I thought, well, that's weird, but okay, whatever. I kept working.
Sure.
Well, then the power went off in the other side of the room. So I call the desk. The guy comes up, fiddles with the things, you know, all the things. He ends up, I'll cut to the chase. He says, don't
You don't
worry.
have to cut to the chase. We have some time, girl.
He says, well, we're going to have to call the maintenance guy. We're in a tiny town, so there's nobody like on staff.
Okay.
So the maintenance guy comes about an hour later, does the same stuff, fiddles with the GFI in the bathroom and all that kind of stuff, and we're going to have to call an electrician. I said, all right, well, should I wait up?
Right.
And he said, no, it'll be fine. Just go to sleep. When you wake up in the morning, the power will be restored and everything will be fine.
Okay.
Okay. So when I travel, I have a hard time sleeping, so I pop the Unisom to help me sleep.
Yeah, I'm not a great sleeper, so I can relate.
And about 3 o'clock in the morning, I heard somebody called my name, like woke me from a dead sleep. And
then it was 3 o'clock in the morning. That's like when.
Yeah. And so I kind of rolled over. The room was kind of foggy, but I was half asleep.
Right, exactly.
I
You're not
picked up my phone, and I could see from the glow of my phone that my
Right.
room was full of smoke.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm telling you, someone said, Denise, wake up. Denise, wake up. And my guardian angel was working overtime that night
my
because,
gosh. I've had chills continuously right now.
yeah. When I tell this story, some people don't believe that God sends those
Oh,
types
yes, he does.
of
Are you
protectors
kidding
over
me?
you. But had I not woken up when I
Right.
did,
You
I
would've
probably
been
would have
done.
died because of CO.
Yeah. Right, the smoke
Yes.
inhalation.
Right. The smoke detectors never went off. The sprinklers never went off because the fire had started in the wall and went up into the ceiling, and so it never made the sprinklers go off. So anyway, I got out. I'm sitting in the car. By the way, it's February in Iowa.
Oh, Lord have mercy. Could we not have done it in the summer?
Yeah, no, it was cold. It was
Oh
very
my
cold.
gosh.
And so I realized I had my keys. At first, I didn't think I had my keys. I was crying to my husband on the phone. I don't have the keys. Do you know how much that costs? And he's like, don't worry about the keys. Everything's
really?
fine.
Yeah.
But I found them. So there was a lady standing next to me. She was across the hall. And I said, I found my keys. You want to go sit in the car? We'll turn the heat on while we're waiting. And she got in the car.
So what is it? It was just your room specifically,
It
or
was
was it the whole
my
floor?
room.
Oh my God.
So what had happened was there was a staple that had gone through the wall into some electrical wire,
Wiring.
and it sat there for 25 years until that night when it decided to, yeah.
Wow.
So when I was in the hallway waiting for the guy to come back up, I could see the wallpaper was sizzling, and I could smell. I knew it was electrical. I knew my father's a firefighter.
Right.
My
Your
husband's
husband's
a
a
firefighter.
firefighter,
My
yeah.
grandfather was a firefighter.
Oh my gosh.
And so I knew that. Yeah. So anyway, so I got in the car with the lady, and all of a sudden it hit me, and I started crying. I said, "We could have died tonight. Like we could have died tonight." And she goes, "Oh, sweetheart, don't cry. You're my angel. You saved my life tonight." I never saw that lady again after that, by the way.
I've had that experience
Yeah.
before. It was your angel.
It
It was your angel. I'm telling you, I've had
don't
that
know.
experience before, and it's like, did that really happen?
Yes. It's bizarre.
Right, because
Yeah.
you don't see that person again, or it's
Never
like,
saw her again.
Right.
No, but she was there at that moment and consoled me, and then she was gone, and I never saw her again. And so things got worse for me after that in the ministry, and I remember sitting in a different hotel.
We're not going back to that one. Let me tell you.
Yeah, no, we never went back. Well, I
No.
did try to go back there, actually. I thought I could handle it.
Yeah,
My
no,
therapist was
too
like,
much
here's what you
trauma.
do.
No.
And I went in, I followed all my therapist's instructions, and yeah, no, I couldn't stay there.
Yeah,
But anyway,
no.
so I stayed at a different hotel, and this is about a month later, so this is like March.
Okay.
And I remember sitting on the side of my bed, just crying out to God, saying, please release me from this call. I felt called to serve the ministry.
Right.
But I also wanted out so desperately. It was just so hard at home, and I'd been through so much already, and I just sat there crying, Lord, just please
Yeah.
let me out. And so as real as I'm sitting here, I could feel the presence of Jesus Christ sitting next to me. And I remember just kind of collapsing into his arms. I could feel him there. His presence was palpable. I don't know how else to explain it other than I felt him there. Like he was a man sitting next
right
to me,
next to you.
holding me as I cried. And he said to me, very soon. And when I told my husband this the next day, he's like, well, what does that mean? What's very soon? I'm like,
well, it's not like I said, well, Jesus. What does very soon mean?
Right. Is that
just like listen?
6 weeks, 10 weeks,
right.
6 months,
because
6
you
years?
Don't know.
I don't know.
You were there for a reason.
Yes.
For whatever
those
reasons were.
Yep. But it became apparent over the next couple of months that it was time. And my husband, that was in March. My husband flew out with me in June. I gave my notice. Yeah. And we left in.
And was it as a result of what was going through the turmoil that the ministry was going through, or it was just like it was just too much?
It was everything.
It was everything.
It was everything. And so in that, the one part that I missed was that after the fire, the hotel chain that I was staying at didn't want to reimburse me for my things that I lost in the fire. So
I'm sorry. Did you just say the hotel didn't want to reimburse you?
Yeah, I said that. Yes.
Or they did not get a good review on.
Or any of my medicals.
What's that site?
The Google.
Not Google. Oh, what's
Yelp?
Yelp. That's it.
So, I had come down back to Boca, and I met with a friend of mine who I went to law school with. He's like a brother to me. He still practices here. Has a very great practice here.
Okay, you can mention his name.
Shiner Law Group. If you ever need personal injury, Shiner Law Group is the place to go. And I was meeting with David Shiner, the owner and the owner, general partner of that firm. And he said to me that day, Denise, why aren't you practicing law? I said, I don't know.
It's like I want to break down, and you know when you're with those safe people.
Yeah. He said, you should be practicing law. And he said to me, listen, if you come back to practicing law, I'll create a position for you here. And he did. He does personal injury. I do wills.
I know, right?
And probate. I do dead people. He doesn't.
You don't do dead people. You do people who want to prepare for their older age. Because you helped me. She helped me with my parents. You literally drove down because my mom had dementia, and we had to get her everything changed.
I actually met with your mom at Shiner Law Group.
I know she did.
Yes,
I'm telling you, she's full service, you guys. So if you need wills or trust, this is your girl. I don't care where she is. She will come. She will take good care of you.
Thank you so much.
Okay.
So I took him up on it. I left the ministry. I went to work with David, and again, that was a place of healing for me.
Right.
I was able to do what I loved in an environment with great people, and
that's so key, because you know what? Just because it's a Christian organization doesn't mean it's a healthy organization.
I learned that the hard way.
Right? Because we all think, they're all Christians. Well, yes, maybe.
Right. And Bob and I had that conversation.
Yeah.
You know, we had talked about how great it'll be to be in a Christian environment.
Right.
And, you know, we open all our meetings with prayer and, you know, but no.
Well, see, that's how the devil works in.
Yeah.
Because he wants to stir that pot.
Yep.
It's just that little sliver of an opening in someone in that group.
Yes.
And then they just stir it and stir it, you know.
And he stirred.
Yeah.
A lot. He whipped. Yeah. So after that, I was with Shiner Law Group for almost 2 years. I have my oldest son was getting married. He married a girl in Tampa, knew she'd never leave. And my husband was retiring.
Right.
And so we decided it was time to sell the home we'd been in for 22 and a half years in South Florida and move to Tampa. And
big move, but not a big move.
It was a huge, you know, after you've been in a home and raised your kids for 22 years.
It's hard to say goodbye.
And
from the house.
It was 30 days. I mean, the moment we decided to close, it was 30 days.
30 days.
So it was like, boom, boom, boom. I mean, God just went,
it's time. I love when he does that, but then there are prayers that don't get answered. For 13 years, I prayed for my husband.
Or
but
ever.
He brought me an amazing guy.
Or ever.
Right. Or ever. Because he knows.
Maybe the answer's no.
Exactly.
Thank
That's-
goodness, and sometimes.
I know, but that's the when you have to trust in God, because He knows the beginning,
Yep.
the middle, and the end.
That's right.
And so you just say, okay, Lord, whatever you want me to do.
That's right.
You know, if you want to bless me with this, wonderful. If
Yeah.
not, there's a reason.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, go ahead.
So we moved up there. I was sort of semi-retired. I
Yeah.
kind of piddled a little bit. My
Yeah.
son is a lawyer, so I hung my shingle with him.
Yeah, I remember talking to him.
And did some work with him for a while. But then he took another job. I tell people he fired me.
Oh,
He didn't really fire me, but it makes for a fun story.
Yeah. So he does the same law as you do.
Back then, he was doing a general practice.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But now he doesn't. Now he's doing litigation. So,
Okay.
So I would have been able to stay there anyway. But
Yeah.
So on a whim, I answered an ad working for an attorney up there, and the first week I was there, I knew I wasn't going to stay there.
Really? It's like, okay.
And I went into his office and I said, "Yeah, this is not for me. I'm leaving." And he said, "You just started." And I said, "Yeah, I know. I can't work for you." And so I gave him a month's notice. I'd only been there a week.
Right.
And as we got closer to that month, he said to me, "You sure you won't stay? Sure you won't stay? Sure you won't stay?" So finally, in the end, I presented an offer to him, which was basically where I would be there, but I didn't work for him. I had my own firm within his firm.
Okay. Well, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah. So
Did he go for it?
He did, and I worked there for 4 years.
Wow.
Till there was an incident, and well, there were always incidents with him, but it kind of rolled off my back. I just let things go, let them go.
Right.
But there was a final straw that happened.
I think God was telling you to leave, but
Yeah, but I was afraid.
fear is
I was
such an
afraid.
awful thing, because fear doesn't come from the Lord.
Fear, yeah.
The devil
But it was,
lives in fear.
will I be able to make it? Will I be able to pay my assistant? Will I? Which is funny because I'm going to come back to that in a minute. So finally I did. I branched out. And it was kind of a baby step because I shared space with somebody else, and we shared my assistant, so I didn't have all the expenses all at once.
It's scary. It's scary
very
to
scary.
do that, because now you're committed and you have to provide and make sure you have enough money coming in to pay that assistant.
And it wasn't about me. It was she relies on me now.
Of
How
course,
am I
she's
gonna-
got a family, or she's got
Yes,
whatever that is.
she relies on me.
Yeah.
And so I have to pay her. So that only worked out for about 6 months before it became obvious that
It's not a good
it was
fit.
going to work well. I needed more time. I needed more space. So I took my assistant with me and found another space where I've been now for a year and a half.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
That's so awesome.
But I just signed a new lease,
You did.
and I'm moving into a 1,500 square foot space.
Girl.
And I
See
now
what God
have-
does when we
Yeah.
go past our fear.
Yeah, that paralegal that came with me moved away, and she's in Tennessee. I actually just hired her back as a virtual assistant.
Yeah, why not? They don't
hired
have
a
to be
full-time
local
assistant.
anymore. That's
Right.
what's so awesome.
So I now have not only a full-time assistant, but 2 virtual assistants. And we
Look
need,
at
we need bigger
you.
space. So this is just happening. I mean, like, I haven't even picked up the keys yet. I pick up the keys next week.
Gosh, congratulations.
So, but I'm back in that. It was back at that same spot. That same. I'm afraid. Can I make it? Can I pay the rent? Can I pay the girls? Can I pay the overhead? And I said to my husband, this is the exact same conversation we had last time.
Right.
Only it's bigger now.
Right.
Bigger expenses. And so I prayed about it, and God just opened the door. I happened to be getting some blood work, and I drove the wrong way out of the complex, and there was a for rent sign. And I called, and the guy called me right back, and here we are.
And there you go.
And here we are. So it's been a really crazy journey. And when I look back at all of those things where God was saying, you can do this, you have tenacity, you're smart enough.
You are so smart, girl.
You're wise enough. I'm making you this leader. I'm giving you these leadership skills to use and serve more people. And so now that I'll be in a bigger space, I'll be able to serve more clients and serve them better, serve them well. Because I don't want to half do anything. If I'm going to do it, I don't want it to be half.
Well, yeah, and that's, we're supposed to be people of excellence, because we glorify God and Jesus in what we do, and how we live our lives and how we serve people, whether it's being an attorney or being, host on Faith Stories. And, we want to always honor Him and glorify Him in everything we say and do. That's the key.
It is the key.
Yeah.
It's absolutely the key. And I've been blessed beyond measure. I mean, God has really taken care of us and taken care of me and shown me where I should go.
Yeah.
You know, what I should do next. And so I'm really excited about this
Oh,
next
that's
part
so
of the journey.
cool. That's so cool. All right, well, listen, we're going to take a quick break and we'll be right back.
Broughton Garage Door Sales now offers you a difference with the LiftMaster Secure View Ultra Quiet Smart Opener with camera, LED 360-degree lighting, and battery backup. Built-in camera adds video and two-way audio communication to the MyQ app. You can control, secure, and monitor your garage anytime, anywhere from your smartphone. Schedule today at broughton.com.
Just simply call Broughton. We open doors for you.
Tavilla Properties, located at 11471 West Sample Road, Suite 17, located in Coral Springs, Florida, for all your commercial needs. Call Jan at 954-341-1632. That's 954-341-1632, or visit www.tavilla.properties.com. Welcome back to Faith Stories. If you have any prayer requests, please email me at faithstorieswithdawn@gmail.com. That's faithstorieswithdawn@gmail.com.
I'm sorry. So Denise's mic decided to go down her blouse. I'm
Can't make it
that
up.
was I know, but we have to, it's real. So, okay. So I'm going to give you the last couple minutes to just kind of wrap it up and share your contact information.
Okay.
But, you know, yeah. So go for it, girl.
So my contact information, my name is Denise Welter. It's with an E, W-E-L-T-E-R.
There you go.
So my law firm is welterlawfirm.com. I'm located in Tampa, but I can take care of clients anywhere in the state of Florida. And I'd love to take care of, you know, all of your people.
Yeah, there you go. She's taken care of my family since I've known you.
20 plus years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, hello. And I highly recommend her. She's
thank you.
amazing. So,
Thank you, you're sweet.
So as far as like sharing anything else that, you know, with your journey and how God,
Yeah.
you know, just kind of bring that all together.
So one of the things that I missed in our conversation was I had some periods of estrangement with different family members during parts of this journey. And I'm amazed by the number of clients that come in that are estranged from
it's
children
so sad.
and parents. And so that was another place where God prepared me through that very painful time, because it's been with two different family members, to get to a place where I can, healing is coming.
Yeah.
But I can identify with those clients. And so I'm grateful, so grateful that God's blessed me.
You know, I'm so thankful, you know, my family, you know, when mom and dad passed, it was like seamless.
Yeah.
Because we had the trust. Everything was in place. No one argued about, not that they had a lot of money, but, you know, still, there was four of us. We split everything 4 ways. It was seamless.
And that's unusual now.
It is very unusual. And I'm so thankful that, So, okay, you know, I have to show my Haley shoes, you guys. These are so adorable. They're pearls. I can't stand it. I love pearls.
They're gorgeous.
Anyways, she is cheval.com. Check her out. And my guest next week is actually an intern from the studio, Daniela Leila Pacheco. So join me next week at 3 o'clock and check out social media. Please subscribe and share to your friends, families, business associates, whomever. Listen, have a wonderful and blessed week, and I'll see you next week at 3 o'clock.
Thank you for watching Faith Stories, where you will hear stories of hope, faith, and love. Please join us next week, and remember, God meets you where you are, but doesn't leave you where you